For over 1,600 years, she's been more legend than fact. Her power, a story, a palace, a myth. But what if that legendary palace, the very heart of her kingdom, wasn't just a story? What if it was real and waiting to be found? For centuries they thought its secrets were lost forever, swallowed by the sea. But now, the incredible truth about Egypt's last pharaoh is finally coming to light. And what they're finding is changing everything we thought we knew. Before the long silence, there was Alexandria, in the 1st century BC. This was the dazzling center of the world, a beacon of culture and learning that made even Rome look provincial, and at its heart was a queen unlike any other, Cleopatra. Now, history mostly written by her enemies paints her as a temptress who brought powerful men to their knees. But the real story is so much more interesting. Cleopatra was a brilliant scholar, a ruthless politician, and a skilled naval commander. She was the first ruler of her Greek dynasty to actually speak Egyptian, presenting herself not just as a queen but as the living embodiment of the goddess Isis. Her ambition was matched only by her intellect, and she ruled from a place designed to project pure power, a royal complex on the island of Antihodos, right in Alexandria's great harbor. Ancient writers like the Greek geographer Strabo described the island as a world of its own, a marvel of marble, gold, and lush gardens, with a private harbor and magnificent temples. This wasn't just a home, it was the strategic heart of her empire. It was from here that she charmed and out-negotiated Julius Caesar to secure her throne. It was here she forged an alliance with Mark Antony that would dare to challenge Rome itself. Her court was a breathtaking blend of two worlds, the ancient traditions of the Egyptian pharaohs and the sophisticated culture of the Greeks. It was a clear statement that she was both heir to Alexander the Great and the rightful ruler of the Nile. But this shimmering world, the very symbol of her power, was built on unstable ground. Cleopatra could command empires, but she couldn't command the earth itself. And beneath the waters of the Mediterranean, forces were at work that would eventually bring it all crashing down. Long after Cleopatra's death, as Roman propaganda worked to erase her true legacy, her city lived on, but its days were numbered. The fall of Cleopatra's palace wasn't a single apocalyptic event. It was a slow, creeping disaster that unfolded over centuries. The region was prone to powerful earthquakes, and the very ground beneath the royal quarter was unstable. A series of quakes, including a massive one in the 4th century AD, combined with the slow rise of sea levels, liquefaction turned the soil into liquid, sealing the island's fate. Bit by bit, Cleopatra's glittering palace, her temples, and all their treasures slid beneath the waves. The destruction was so complete that the island of Antihodos vanished, buried under water and sealed by thick layers of sand and sediment. For more than 1,600 years, the palace of the last pharaoh became a myth. The stories of its wonders were often dismissed as romantic fantasy. The world moved on. Alexandria was rebuilt, layer upon layer, until the memory of what lay in its harbor was almost completely forgotten. Was anything even left? The answers would have to wait for a new kind of explorer, one with the guts and the gear to finally break the silence. The search for Cleopatra's lost world didn't start with a map, but with a book. In the 1990s, a French underwater archaeologist named Frank Gaudio became obsessed with the writings of Strabo, the geographer who described Cleopatra's Alexandria in vivid detail. Gaudio had a hunch: if Strabo was right, the legendary island of Antihodos might still be out there. He founded the European Institute of Underwater Archaeology and, working with Egyptian authorities, set out on a mission most people thought was pure fantasy. The challenge was immense. Alexandria's harbor is murky, polluted, and the visibility is often near zero. To see through centuries of mud and debris, Gaudio's team brought in some serious high-tech gear. They used fancy tools to scan the seabed for hidden structures. For years they surveyed the harbor, slowly piecing together a ghost image of what lay beneath. And then, in 1996, they hit the jackpot. Their surveys revealed the unmistakable outline of a submerged island, complete with paved areas and the foundations of large buildings, exactly where Strabo had described it. It was Antihodos. The legend was real, but finding the island was just the first step. Now they had to excavate it. Divers worked in near-total darkness, using powerful vacuums to gently fan away the sediment, one painstaking layer at a time. Every artifact was a clue, its position carefully logged before being brought to the surface. And as the mud cleared, the first secrets began to emerge. The artifacts that came to light weren't just treasure. They were pieces of a puzzle, finally revealing the truth about Cleopatra's world. One of the most incredible discoveries was a pair of granite sphinxes, found guarding what looked like a temple. And here's the twist. One of the sphinxes had the face of her own father, Ptolemy XII. This was a brilliant piece of political branding, frozen in stone. By placing a sphinx of her father at a sacred site on her private island, Cleopatra was sending a powerful message. She was the legitimate heir to the dynasty, directly linking her Greek family to the divine authority of the pharaohs. Nearby, the team found the ruins of a small, elegant temple dedicated to the goddess Isis. Inside and all around it were ritual instruments and statues, including a life-size figure of a shaven-headed priest of Isis, caught mid-stride. This is where she, a living goddess, performed sacred rituals to show her power. But maybe the biggest secret was hidden in the palace itself. Divers uncovered a stunningly preserved section of marble flooring and the remains of more than 60 massive columns of red Egyptian granite. The architecture was a masterful blend. The layout was Greek, but the materials were pure Egyptian. This fusion was Cleopatra's story told in stone. She wasn't a Greek queen ruling Egypt. She was creating a new, hybrid culture that was all her own. And the sheer scale of these ruins proves that the ancient stories of her wealth weren't exaggerated. These discoveries are happening right now, completely changing our picture of the ancient world. Every year, archaeologists like Frank Gadio are pulling new secrets from the depths. If you're fascinated by the hidden worlds that are still out there waiting to be found, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss where we're going next. The secrets emerging from the sunken kingdom of Antihodos are giving us a new picture of Cleopatra. For centuries, we've known the caricature written by the Romans who defeated her, but the artifacts from her own home tell a different story. They reveal her true identity: a master politician, a devout high priestess, and a visionary ruler who commanded a world of incredible wealth and sophistication. The work in Alexandria is nowhere near finished. In fact, Frank Gadio estimates that his team has only explored a tiny fraction, perhaps less than 5% of the ancient underwater site. There are so many more secrets waiting in the murky water, ready to challenge what we think we know about Egypt's last pharaoh. The sunken palace proves that Cleopatra was more than a legend. She was a powerhouse. And now, after centuries of silence, her world is finally being seen again, proving that while her kingdom may have sunk, her legacy is finally rising to the surface.